All right, hello everybody. My name is Master Chen.
I'm Zenify.
I'm Vic.
And I'm Richard Satchel.
And you are either watching or listening to Greynoise. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 158 of Greynoise, the podcast where we have a lot to catch up on this week.
Yeah.
So we are here like every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Sin Shop. That is at 1075 American Pacific. I haven't done this for like a week.
Go, you got this, man. You can do this. I got confidence.
1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C. We are in Henderson, Nevada, even though we are still the Las Vegas Valley hackerspace. Go to synshop.org. That's synshop.org for information on shop. Go to meetup.com/synshop to see what classes we have coming up. Yeah, there's stuff going on all the time. 3D printing, sewing, craftsmanship, the Danger Room classes. It's all going on, so check it out.
Got a ShopBot class on Sunday, still has 2 open positions.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. 2 open positions on that ShopBot class. And remember, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.se for information on us. Does anybody else have any other announcements? No? Then who wants to start with their week first? Because we have a lot of stuff to review. We've got DEF CON stuff.
Let's start down there first. I think I had something, but go ahead.
Okay.
So DEF CON was awesome.
Yes,
yeah,
like always.
I had a blast this year. I really did. It was. I was really impressed with how it was laid out, how it was organized. A lot of people thought it was too cramped. I thought it was pretty good this year compared to the last 3 years. Yeah,
I didn't notice a lot of the shoulder-to-shoulder, walking in the halls. That
there was some, but not what it was before.
Not what it used to be. Yeah. So you spent most of your time in the hardware hacking village, though, right?
Yeah. Being part of Sin Shop, we partner with DEF CON, and we show up to help people learn how to solder and other hardware hacking stuff.
Yes. I bought 2 Darknet badges, and I still need to solder them because I didn't do any soldering over that weekend.
We had a post-soldering party last night right here at the shop. Where were you?
God damn it! Really? All right. Well, so did you get to walk around and see stuff, even though you were mostly in that?
Oh, yeah.
Village? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you get down to the biohacking one?
I briefly walked around that area, but my interests were really more in Recon Village. I stepped into... they had the drone village, too. We got to talk about that.
Right, they had the TAC drones over there, yeah?
Yeah, it was really awesome. A lot of stuff to see. We're definitely going to be digging into DEF CON, so let's really quickly first talk about you guys. What's going on?
I was in Denver last week, so I could not attend DEF CON.
Yeah, you were talking, you seem to have a dislike for Denver.
Oh, I discussed it last week. Yeah, Denver sucked.
I didn't get to hear that. I got to ask him why he hates Denver so much.
It's just their food sucked, their whole grid system, everything was a fucking fork every time I drove anywhere.
But everything was per diem, right?
So it was like,
it
was like driving on Git, right? GitHub?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was a fork.
Yeah, everything was a fork.
All right.
So yeah, no, that was it. I mean, it was super windy last weekend, and my primary 9 to 5 has a dish like for microwave ISP radio for here in town, and the dish fell over, and those things are not easy to recalibrate.
No,
I know that because I couldn't accomplish it, and I had to call them out.
Yep.
So that really sucked to get that stood back up because it was heavy.
I'm sure you're glad to be back in Vegas.
Still too hot here. I liked it in Idaho the most, surprisingly.
Okay, welcome. Well, maybe you'll return to Moscow soon.
Yeah.
Satchel?
I have a judgment.
On what?
Raspberry Pi.
Oh yeah, you've been working with those for a little while now, right?
I don't like it.
Well, okay, why? I know, everybody, we just got a gasp from the audience.
Bring it.
All right, so why don't you like Raspberry Pi?
Here's the thing. If I'm developing a Python app and I have a choice between the Circuit Python, the Adafruit's little Python thing where I can go into the IDE, I make my thing, and I push it over here. It's legit Python. It's not like a scaled down version. It's just plain old Python. Push it to the board and it goes. There's not another operating system that has to be loaded. I don't have to get out my little portable keyboard. I don't have to worry about where the HDMI cable's plugged in. I don't have to set up a GitHub in order to get stuff from here to here, unless I'm totally doing it wrong, which is very possible. But I found the whole workflow process with the Raspberry Pi so much more convoluted than with the Circuit Playground stuff.
You might be doing it wrong.
I'm willing to accept that.
But we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But you might be doing it wrong. That sounds a little bit too cumbersome.
Well, I agree.
Yeah, it sounds. You got to treat it like it's a remote Linux box.
Well, and I do, and I got SSH set up on it and all that stuff. But with the Adafruit, I don't even have to do that. I just hook the IDE, with the USB, and
You know secure copy commands, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
SCP. Yeah.
Just checking.
I did that too, but still,
Well,
then
you're going. I need a GitHub. Really? Why?
Well,
Secure copy.
that was the initial effort.
And the Python you're developing on is the same version of Python you have on the Pi, right?
Is it 2.7 or 3?
But when it's 3. But when I go from an Adafruit hardware over to Raspberry Pi, then all the pins are different, so I got to change all that.
Right.
And where it's stored and how the display is accessed and all that mess. So I had to rewrite all that. And so I'm like, okay, screw it. I'll just buy a faster Adafruit.
Sounds like Adafruit just really screwed with you.
I mean,
You're really you're now customized to Adafruit.
I mean,
actually, Vic brings up a pretty good point.
I'll take that. I mean, I'll own it, but I mean,
I know, like, after you've learned all this stuff with the Adafruit or a specific product, doesn't have to be Adafruit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know all this stuff, you know how it works.
Yeah.
And now you've got to realign your process and your thinking and how you're going to do everything. It's a chore. It is to develop that next step on that new piece of hardware.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my experience.
So far,
I am willing to change my mind. I am flexible as far as that goes. But thus far, after spending a weekend with it, I don't like it.
All right. Well, if anybody out there could change his mind, please do so. We'll even
Raspberry
sit in front of the
Pi
table.
changed my mind.
yeah.
Exactly.
Change my mind.
I'll set up a table after the show.
There you go. Okay, so we do have Smaction out there in the audience, and he did some interviews for us over at DEF CON as well as did I. But let's talk with Smaction for a little bit because, Smaction, you didn't record any of your interviews.
No, I did all the old-fashioned way note-taking today. I was in noisy environments. I didn't put down the phone.
I know you were like you're probably like a 1920s journalist. Like, can you tell me? Can you tell me about? All right.
Little press thing on my hat. Yeah.
All right. So who'd you interview?
Well,
First of all, what's your take on DEF CON this year? What'd you think? Did you have fun?
I had fun. What's my take on DEF CON is they should have given an award for going over to the Flamingo. Because
we've heard a couple of things out in the audience too earlier before the hour. So
because they had a small amount of stuff there, and the walking to the Flamingo was a kind of a trek with that big, giant, bar in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard that keeps you from going straight across the street.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so I think so at Flamingo we had Sky Talks, we had the DC 101 track, we had the Car Hacking Village. What else was there? Do you guys remember?
I'm trying to remember what else was
Those
there.
were the three major attractions, right?
Major attractions.
Yeah.
And it made it also like if you were going to go to Talks, you had to go, okay, do I want to go to tracks 1, 2, and 3, or do I want to go to DC 101 on any given day, and decide where you were going to spend your time? So it was better in the sense, like you said, you weren't wall to wall with people. You could actually walk between tracks and things like that.
Yeah.
They were better in the tracks about getting people in. I didn't have too many talks in the tracks that I was turned away from because they were full. But there were a couple, and where they really, really now need to expand because they've made them so popular are the villages were overflowing with people.
Yes.
So what used to be the problem
popular.
getting into tracks is now the problem getting into villages.
Well, because I think what's going on now is I'm guilty of it too. In my mind, I already think the tracks are going to be full. I'm just going to go to the villages.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that. So I'm sure there are people who could probably fit into the tracks, especially now that those tracks are huge. Like if I remember was it track 1 or 3 for Hacker Jeopardy? The place was huge. If you're not fitting,
it was 3,000 plus people in that room. Yeah.
Right. So I think people again in their mind they're like, well, I'm not going to be able to get into the track. It's going to be full. I'm just going to go to this village.
The only one that I know that was full that I couldn't get into, and that was even waving around my press badge, but there were just too many people waiting. There might have been a riot if they'd let me in. Was the Royce's talk from the NSA?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that was full. don't get too comfortable because, of course, DEF CON is not at Caesar's Palace next year.
No, where is it, Smaction?
It's at Bally's in Paris, and now they're adding to a third hotel.
Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, Planet Hollywood.
Did they?
So-
Is the reason they're not at Caesars because of what went on this year with Caesars?
No, I want to
security?
talk about that, but
Okay.
no, it's Caesars isn't going to be undergoing a renovation, so it was the last year of their contract anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
but
I mean-
I'm
I'll come
still
back
curious about what your thoughts are on the whole discussion with,
So Paris and Bally's are still Caesar's properties, and I thought Planet Hollywood wasn't, but I guess it is. So that's why they're. I don't think DEF CON has been at an MGM property for quite some time now, if ever. If you know the DEF CON history, so
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever been at an MGM property.
I don't have the list in front of me to look, but I don't think they've been at. They haven't been at an MGM. They've been at properties that are now MGM properties, but I don't think they were MGM properties at the time they were there.
Right. So cheers to the Caesars group because they're the
Because
only
they were
ones that
at the
are
Monte
hosting us.
Carlo when it was not MGM's.
That's right.
Part,
That's right.
part thing. So let's talk about what went on as before we get into the talks and all the old-fashioned reporting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zenify
what
has some
happened?
questions.
I didn't hear about that.
So in the wake of the 1 October shooting, the hotels have put in all sorts of interesting security measures. One of them is that they no longer let people opt out of having employees enter the room.
Yeah.
You can decline maid service and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you decline it for 2 days, it triggers that a
Like
human,
a wellness check, like a force.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be done by clearly identified. This is reading out a Caesar's policy.
Right.
It's supposed to be done by clearly identified Caesar's security employees who search only visual the main parts of the rooms. They do not open bags. They do not question people. They do not. Okay. They don't go through personal belongings. Well,
Now that's what's supposed to happen.
that's what's supposed to happen.
and people still don't
um,
like that part, but
And
Yeah.
apparently that's not what happened.
no.
So what happened?
First of all, there were complaints all over Twitter. One from a group I know, the Whiskey Pirates, that they were confiscating soldering irons, that they were opening up people's bags. One woman who was by herself claims, and Caesars has not denied it, so you can take that however you want, claims that she was accosted in the hall trying to go into a room by two men who claimed to be Caesar's security. And when she insisted on going into the room and checking who they were before she let them into the room, they brushed their way past her
Wow.
and went into the room. And she claims they weren't wearing anything that said they were Caesar's employees or Caesar's security.
Okay.
Right. So
Caesar's didn't say they weren't, and Caesar's didn't say it didn't happen.
do
but-
they?
So there were things like
Were
that.
there
going-
report? Okay, so were there reports that the two guys with that girl, were they in suits? Were they in any sort of uniform?
You know what? I don't remember.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is, oh, go ahead, Vic.
So I want to believe everybody that's reported these stories.
Right.
But we've got a community of people who are very tech savvy and have tech on them all the time and are comfortable taking pictures and posting to social media.
Right.
At this time, I haven't seen any photographs, any evidence that say, look, I came back to my room, this is how my bag was, right? Strewn, or, you know.
I don't
somebody-
think anyone's
somebody-
saying that they searched the rooms when they
So-
weren't
so-
there.
so
I
somebody's
didn't hear
doing
that.
I'm sorry.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you though on the audio. So there will be dead air. So really quick, Vic, I understand your point. The question that I had for Smaction is, remember, I used to be in the industry here in Vegas,
Right.
and so even though they don't always have, I mean, they should have a name tag on a suit, like so hotel security or
Yeah.
property security, they are in a uniform. That is usually a suit with a blazer or.
Well, they have
you
to
know.
have something that says Caesar's on it on there.
Right,
That's
exactly.
fine.
So
Yeah, you know.
I'm wondering if this person could describe,
You know what? There is a clarity report. I forget the actual name of it that DEF CON does every year now. Started a couple of years ago, but they formalized it this year. That is released shortly. That will cover all of the accusations that people made. It will cover. It was designed actually to cover harassment and misconduct. According to the DEF CON Code of Conduct, and give an enumeration of all the complaints and everything that come out. It's going to include these complaints this year that were raised by guests and Caesar's response.
Right.
So that will be out soon if it's not already out on the DEF CON website. You were going to say, I'm sorry. You might not be able to say.
I was reading Reddit, so put a little caveat here. But evidently, the security folks went into the QueerCon suites, and they had Ubiquity cameras running, and they recorded the entire thing. And so there's evidently some sort of case that's available, but we can't get access to the videos right now because they're in litigation.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody did do that.
Yes,
And-
yes, that is very important. So, for those of you who've never been to Vegas or you've been to Vegas but don't know how it is, security should only have cameras set up in the elevators going up to the hotel rooms so that you can see which level somebody gets off. There are no cameras in the hallways, at least there shouldn't be. There are no cameras in the hallways, and there are definitely no cameras in the room. In any of these rooms, and of course that's by design because for the agreement when you are staying at a hotel is this is pretty much your residence for the time being. So, privacy, right, or an expectation of privacy. So there should not be any cameras set up in those rooms. So the fact that there is, definitely it is a good thing that they're in litigation. Community Mike.
So I was given information from an inside source that the Caesars SecOp manual that was handed out to the staff, like maids, security guards,
Right.
that was leaked online, if you can find it. And
Okay.
it's possible that people who did get a hold of that probably read through it.
Impersonation.
Yes. So
Right.
They might be doing something.
Okay, so there's some potential there. So again, it's kind of funny because we have to say allegedly, right, until we know exactly what's going
Yeah,
on.
these are all accusations. Caesar's issued a statement in response that's on the DEF CON website, saying that they're investigating, if any of their policies were violated. What you have is the DEF CON culture came up against the post-1 October culture in Las Vegas hotels.
Right.
And but the thing like confiscating soldering irons, I'm ambivalent about that because it certainly can't come under their new classification of confiscating a weapon.
Well, how
know.
many of them know what a soldering iron is? That's
Good
what I'm saying. You're throwing your hands up, and so am I. Because now I'm not saying that they were right in doing it, but it definitely doesn't look like a rifle or anything of that
Right.
nature. But I mean, again, how many people know what a soldering iron looks like?
Do you know what you can make with a soldering iron?
Right. There's also that. There's also that. But I mean, like to look at this device and say, oh, well, it doesn't look like this or that. So if you don't know what a soldering iron is, do you know what it could be used for?
My theory, and this is only a theory, I haven't discussed it with anyone, I have no information to back it up, is that they confiscated them because they were emanating heat and they were worried about a fire. They were looking at a potential fire hazard, so they thought. Hey, you can catch something on fire with a soldering iron just as easy as you can, an iron that's left unattended.
Curling iron.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a fair point.
Yeah, but they don't confiscate curling irons, which is
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, the curling iron is still there on the counter
Yeah.
in the bathroom. So, all right. So, Smaction, who did you have a chance to speak with?
Oh, I talked with many people. First of all, let's see. Let me get through I have to get through my B-sides and Black Hat notes and get over to...
Actually, okay. Smaction, could you go ahead and find your notes, get
Yeah.
yourself collected, and let's divert to a little of the other stuff really
Okay,
quick.
no problem.
Only because you're off camera, and I think it might be visually boring for the people who are actually watching
I'm
live.
visually boring. That's why I'm on camera.
So collect yourself, and then we'll get right back to you, Smaction. All right. So Vic, you stayed mostly in the hardware hacking village. I'm glad you got a chance to walk around, though. Now, I did hear last week's episode because I was editing it today. And I know, and from what I heard from you guys last week, I know and I completely understand that the con isn't for everybody. Like,
Oh.
you're not, I know
Okay.
Doxy isn't into that
Right,
kind of
right.
stuff. I
Yeah.
totally get it. I understand. But I do feel like at the conference, there is a lot there's a lot to do. So I would argue that there is something for everybody, even if it's nothing more than just being drunk from 9 a.m. until midnight.
Yeah, it's a security conference. It turns into a drinking game.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there were so many people playing that game where, like, if you mentioned buzzwords like cyber or, cloud, you had to take a drink. And, yeah, people got drunk quickly.
What's your thought on the lack of bar access in the most of the conference area?
Yeah, so that was very disappointing, actually. I know that there was a bar and it wasn't even open all the time. But there was a bar like in the contest area,
In the chill out area.
and in the chill out area. But I mean, again, these are. I'm kind of mixed on this, and I'll tell you why in a second. But like, where previous conferences you were able to get a beer pretty much anywhere, the limited access now is interesting. Again. And here's why it is. Remember, we have RootsCon now. We have a lot of kids running around. So I could kind of see where you want those what do you call it, barriers to entry, channel act. Or, I can't think of the right physical security for it.
You don't want to have a whole bunch of alcohol running around about 50 feet away from where they sell those giant 3-foot tall margaritas. I mean, you can't have that.
It's Vegas,
Yeah, this is Vegas. I mean, come on.
Right. My point is access control, though. Like, when you're out in the street and there's a big sign that says Margaritaville, it's kind of interesting if a 12-year-old is standing there. Whereas,
So put a wristband on him and say, "Don't serve anybody with a wristband."
well, actually, okay, so
Or
we can
without.
talk about B-Sides in a second, because B-Sides did the opposite there. So they had bars, but you went to go get ID'd first. They gave you a red wristband, and then you never got ID'd again. I didn't get wristbanded. I didn't get carded. But
Now,
that's beside the point.
That is a system that is used very commonly and is rife, is fertile ground for social engineering.
There's that too. It's a hacker conference. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. But I was.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did have an 11-year-old that hacked a voting machine. So
Yes.
A voting website.
That's
voting
true
website.
too.
Yeah,
Voting
yeah,
website, yeah.
And we had a 16-year-old who hacked the apparently unhackable McAfee product that's out right now, or whatever.
Does he get whatever McAfee was promising?
I don't
forget
know
what his reward was.
I don't know the details of it. I know that it was some sort of mobile phone that was also like
Or
a.
it was a Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
Bitcoin
yeah, it was
wallet.
the crypto.
And it was a
Oh.
16-year-old who hacked it. And apparently
Did
it's
you
quote,
see-
and I do say quote unquote unhackable. I don't
Did
believe
you
that
see
anything's
his?
unhackable.
Yeah. Did you see his like tweets following?
I know he went off.
Dude, he
he went off
rails.
the
We
rails for a
interviewed
little
What,
bit.
the teenager did?
No,
No,
McAfee.
Wait,
So-
so you just said Bitcoin wallet. Does that mean we're allowed to drink?
But that's not a buzzword. Well, you can drink,
If you're thirsty.
but it was an actual
it's not
Bitcoin
a
wallet.
It's not a buzzword.
Blockchain.
Ah,
There's
better
the
take
drink.
blockchain.
All right, so I wasn't disappointed with the bar placements per se. I mean, drinks were handed to me though, and you guys, for those of you who don't know why, yes, I spoke at DEF CON twice.
That
Really?
was the best talk I never saw because someone gave me the wrong time.
What time did I tell you?
Womp womp.
12:30
Shit! On Friday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Fuck. All right. So I spoke twice on the same subject. I spoke at the DEF CON Sky Talks, which was at Flamingo. The only time I was at the Flamingo was Friday morning. And then I spoke again on Sunday at 11:30. Sorry, Smaction. I got my times wrong. But hey, they're recorded, or one of them's recorded. The Recon Village talk is recorded,
yeah.
and you'll get that hopefully within the next week or two. Last year, DEF CON released the Village talks pretty early. So I'm hoping it'll be there sometime soon. That's my wish, so I could post it all over Facebook and dox myself, and Oh, that's another thing too. No, so I don't know exactly when this happened, but an interesting thing that I've noticed at DEF CON now is, and I know it wasn't just this year, but it's now that we're all, I guess, what you could call grown up and professional, it was very interesting on how you should introduce yourself, right? Like, do I introduce myself by handle or by name? Because there was like a big mix of it. It was like almost like a 50-50, hey, you introduce yourself by your handle, so I'll introduce myself by my handle. Or you use your name, I'll use what is presumably my name, Thoughts on that, guys?
I think you're going to find that there's a group of old school DEF CON attendees who will only use their handles.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I think that group is shrinking, and most people.
They're dying off.
I think that most people do a mix.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever whim strikes them when they're being introduced, that's what they use. Or generally, my rule is if someone introduces themselves to me with their handle, then I respond with my handle. If they use their name, I use my name.
Yeah, I've kind of picked up on that social etiquette there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get back to Smaction as far as reporting on who we interviewed in just a second. Really quick, to summarize, I collectively, between the 2 tracks, I spoke in front of about 400 to 500 people. I can't remember the exact number, but it was around that time. I started drinking Friday morning at 9 a.m. I stayed drunk until midnight. I had 3 shots on stage at Sky Talks and then 2 shots of Jaeger on Sunday with the guys who were running Recon Village. So really quick, shout out to Sky Talks. Thank you very much. And also shout out to Recon Village. That fucking shit was amazing. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. But the most fun, and I do sincerely mean this, the most fun was after the talks. After giving the talks and like going out to the hallways and having like an extended Q&A. So at the beginning, before I even started getting into like the presentation, I said, okay, look, I'm going to use up as much time as I can. So Q&A, I'm going to find the closest bar. Everybody can follow me, and we'll stay there, and we will chat, and we'll have a good time. And so I stayed at the closest bar to the Sky Talks for about good 45 minutes, and then before everybody had their questions answered, whatnot. But my favorite part was talking to people who had a sincere interest in the research that I was doing. So they were asking questions. Have you tried this? I've tried this, and I ran into this wall. What do you think about this? And that was the coolest part, because you got to remember, this is about community and conversation. So again, I was floored by the amount of good feedback I had there. Shut up, you're gonna get.
You know who didn't like that?
Who?
The guy that followed you.
Hey,
Because all of a sudden, all these people just walk out the door.
Yeah, you're probably right. I apologize to that guy, but you're probably right.
Did anyone go to the concert?
Juno Reactor.
Right.
Right. I didn't go, but I heard good things about that.
So they're going to release that live. They're
Oh,
gonna,
really?
They recorded the entire concert, and they're going to release it. So I'm like camping the music torrent site that's on there. To
You got your RSS feed?
I do. It's like
Pointed at
so
it.
I'm waiting for it to happen. So I guess they're going to release like all the music that was played for that entire evening.
That's insane.
It is. It's awesome.
So the concert was so electric that I guess people were dancing so hard that a ceiling tile from the bottom level actually fell into the chill out
They
area.
stomped the ceiling tile off?
Yeah, they did, and it fell in the chill out area. So that's kind of cool. That's literally called bringing down the house. So that's
And
the
where
kind of
was
fun-
Caesar security then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Room number.
Yeah, they were confiscating a soldering iron. Yeah.
Forget security. You need building maintenance now.
Yeah.
Facilities.
All right, so I had a lot of fun. I love talking to you guys. I love talking to the community. Thank you guys for that attendance. That was really cool. All right, let's get back to Smaction and the people he interviewed.
All right, so I'm gonna really concentrate on one because
Okay.
there were several good talks. I managed to briefly talk to some of the speakers, not in a real formal interview setting. There were a couple actually who turned down my requests for interviews. I know, shocking, isn't it? And, but there was a really good talk, and I did talk extensively with with one of the speakers, I should say. And the title of the talk was "You're Just Complaining Because You're Guilty."
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
I talked to Jenna Matthews, who was the lead researcher in this talk. And what the talk was about was software that's being used in the justice system. And just like so many other types of software and other stuff, the technology that we use in our lives, it's really a black box, and that's just being trusted.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Like I would say something I don't have to drink, like the cloud.
Wait, I think Cloud is starting to get a little buzzword.
Oh, no, you got to drink from Cloud.
Okay, so the problem with a lot of the software is that, like I said, it's a black box, and the other thing is that it remains a black box because it's all proprietary software. So the companies won't release their source code. The companies won't even release definitively like what the inputs it uses and what the weights there are that it uses in various things. So you can be denied probation, given a longer prison sentence, you know, any of those
Cut loose,
things.
probably not.
What?
Or cut loose
Cut
entirely.
loose,
but
right.
No, you're not.
Okay.
There's
And,
hopeful thinking.
They're not made to do that.
The reason that I sat down and spoke with her is that she was really came there to exhort the community actually to get involved, and like if you have access to any of this software, if you want to get access, you know, they're trying to help researchers get a hold of the software, get around the purchase restrictions. You know, they're also looking for lawyers you know, separate. So it was a really, it was the reason I settled down with her was that it was a really kind of, let's get the community to take this on. Let's make this stuff made open source.
Right.
If we can't get it made open source, let's at least require that that cities and counties and governments that use this stuff, that it be disclosed to them.
Right.
That make it illegal for counties to black boxes and then say, we don't know how it works.
So something very similar to this happened in, I think it was like either last Tuesday or the Tuesday before last. Kansas had their primary, and there's some shenanigans that are afoot in Johnson County. I don't know how familiar you are with this.
Oh yes, there was
Chris Kobach and
yeah, but was it votes coming in late? It made it closer. There was something.
No.
Oh no, it was something with absentee vote.
No. At around like I think it was like 11 o'clock Central Time, all of a sudden they just we have a computer glitch, and the Republican that was ahead by by 15% at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, we fixed the glitch, and then all of a sudden the other guy is winning.
Well,
15 points.
That's significant.
Now the only person. I'm sorry. After all that, it came down to 200 votes difference, and so the only person that can challenge is the Republican, according to Kansas state law. But he isn't going to, because the whole party's on him to not. Anyway, my point with all this is that it's kind of a similar thing. You've got a public thing, and a private company is saying, no, you can't see how your election or your parole is being handled.
It's exactly so.
How is the Kansas State Board of Elections not like on this? I mean, that's their job to like go after this kind of thing.
Well, you know who the Secretary of State of Kansas is right now?
Not even on a bet. No.
Chris Kobach. He's the guy that's running.
The guy who's running is in charge of the committee?
Did he win?
Huh?
Did he win?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was amazing. He beat a 15-point deficit. That pesky computer glitch.
It's a feature.
Well, it is for him.
It's a feature this year.
Yeah.
Not a bug.
Yeah.
So, Smashing, then what's your takeaway from talking with her?
My takeaway from talking with her is that this is a really, really fertile area for research. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is that I really want to add into Richard's point that we have a lot of stuff that we use that's black, that are just black boxes, and that'll lead into the next topic when we get there about the vote hacking village.
All right. Awesome. Did you want to talk about that vote hacking village?
Let's talk about the vote hacking village.
Okay, now this is the second year, right? This is the second year that it came back?
I think it's more.
It's more than that.
More than that.
No, I think it was only here.
No, it was 2 years. This is second year.
Yeah, this is only the second year.
Okay. It just seems longer.
Yeah, last year was
like
the first
Trump
year that
presidency.
They did it. And last year, the big claim to fame was that every single machine was hacked.
Yes, and
so
this year.
Oh, this year too? Okay.
This year, the machines were not the target that really got everyone's attention.
It was the 11-year-old.
It was the 11-year-old, and it was two 11-year-olds. There was an 11-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl, and I feel they both deserve mention.
Okay,
Nice.
Of course, yeah.
And what they did is, what the voter hacking village did is they set up a duplicate of the Florida State Elections website, the website that displays the election results to the public. Okay, and the site that the public interacts with to deal with the Department of Elections in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And as you now heard, the 11-year-old in minutes, and both 11-year-olds actually separately working in minutes, compromised the site so that they could change not change the actual results, because that involves the voting machines, but change who was displayed as the winner on the voting website. Now,
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, yeah. And of course, if as you can imagine, if you get that out there publicly in a live election,
Exactly.
even if you change it back, who's going to believe you?
Right, because then
Right.
it's now a problem with public opinion.
Okay.
People who, yeah.
Now, the Florida State of Elections has responded, saying that this was not a fair duplicate of their website, that they don't know. I love when they say this. They don't know what security controls we have in place that would prevent this from happening. Sound familiar?
We
But I
didn't
assure
know.
you, everything's fine.
We didn't know.
But
Our contractor told us everything was great.
and I want to congratulate both 11-year-olds, particularly the girl, because We have a really male-dominant
We do.
Absolutely.
profession, so it was like, yeah, get in there and kick ass, little girl.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
And so that was really the news. Last year the news was breaking all the machines. This year, it was almost like old school. Let's hack a website. And
Yeah. Well,
course,
another thing too.
Florida's real upset, but
Of course they are. Egg on face, right?
yeah.
So the thing is, a lot of people outside of our community, not inside, but a lot of people who are from the outside looking in, they're probably more shocked than we are that an 11-year-old or two 11-year-olds were able to do this. But we got to remember, that's probably when we started getting into technology and breaking shit and doing, It's not surprising to hear a 14-year-old or an 11-year-old or younger, being
Especially
able to do this stuff.
websites.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is so much documented about what's wrong with websites.
Yeah. On one hand, too, you've got really, really smart kids and really, really broke counties and state governments. Not even necessarily broke, but like the guys that they hire are probably not the best in the world. It's like someone's cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, contracting in government, everything you get was done by the lowest bidder.
Yes. I'm sure.
I had a coworker bring this topic up, and they said, "Did you know that somebody from 11-year-old from DEF CON hacked the Florida website?" And so basically,
Close.
they thought what they read in the newspaper.
Oh,
was
that they actually hacked the website.
They were at DEF CON and they actually hacked the real website
Right.
that they were in.
Yeah.
Right. And so I explained the whole thing that these were actually provided just so we could try to find the vulnerabilities, and that's what was happening. And they like freaked out and said, "You guys should never have your hands on those machines."
Only the bad guy should have their
Oh, yeah, only the
Yeah.
bad guys
Yeah.
should have access
Well,
to this stuff.
Obviously, that's how this person framed us, is that they saw us as the bad guys.
Yeah. When the point is that you break it and tell the people, hey, we were able to break this and here's how you should fix this.
And
Yeah,
by the
they-
way, if
yeah.
it wasn't for hackers, they wouldn't have discovered that a vendor who had denied that they had done this had put remote access software
Oh, God.
on voting machines. What could go wrong?
Right.
And supervisor passwords in plain text on notepads on the machines.
But it gets better. It gets better. Because
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Because the head of the company, when asked about this initially and denied it,
Of course.
right, just like 3 years ago, said that would be monumentally stupid.
Well, he was right.
I mean, yeah, Satchel beat me too, but he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong. Yeah.
So, okay,
So
cool.
stuff like that comes out of the the hacking village.
Yes, and that's why it's very important, not just to go to DEF CON, okay? I mean, yes, it's very important to go to DEF CON, but it's also very important to go to, I don't know, your local hacker spaces maybe, or, your local areas of community that have people like us all around the world. In Germany you have the CCC, in New York you have people, all over the world you have people. So for those of you who are new to the scene, remember to join your local DEF CON group or your local hackerspace. Learn. That's what we're all here for. We learn from each other. No one in this room is smarter than anybody else. We have areas of expertise, we have areas of specialization, but we can all learn from each other. So that's, again, I sound like a hippie in this one, but community and conversation is my biggest takeaway from DEF CON this year and other years.
Man.
Right. So
You know what Cartman said about hippies, right?
I hate hippies. Fuck. All right. So what are okay, first of all, I have to ask, Zenify, are you going to be on a business trip next year?
It's been like that for the last 3 years, so probably.
Fuck, man.
I don't know, I'm trying not to.
Who do we need to talk to?
I know. Who do we need to? Do we have to call in for you by accident on
Yeah.
purpose?
I need
My name is Zenify. I'm not coming in today because I'm sick
Who needs some
of
explaining?
working here. No.
I need a doctor's note, probably.
Oh, I'm Dr. Chen. I mean Master Chen, but I'm going to be a doctor soon. Not really. I could write like a doctor.
Do you want it to be from any particular type of doctor? This is negotiable.
Yeah, I know. We can just say that we
We'll
cut your
figure it
kidney out. All right. So, is there anything that you guys are looking forward to next year? Anything that you guys want to try or maybe attend?
I might try going.
You should.
I might.
You should. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Look, we came out of it in one piece.
And if you don't want to go to DEF CON, if you don't want to dip your toe into the DEF CON pool as your first con experience, there's B-sides and Black Hat. Well, Black Hat not so much. That's
that's like what, $2,500.
Yeah, nobody's
yeah,
got
yeah.
black hat money.
I know Glock's extra. Never mind. All right, we got somebody else here up at the community mic.
Hey, a word of warning for B-sides. Normally they have like 300 to 400 badges
Oh.
for walk-ins. They had 13.
Yes.
Oh.
We
And
were
so-
there.
Yeah.
Smaction and I were there.
So a lot of us weren't able to get in. I'd been going for quite a while. This is the first year I wasn't able to. So make sure that you volunteer or sponsor
Yes,
or somehow
absolutely.
get in there. Otherwise, there's no way to get into B-side.
So the funny thing is, we actually got into B-sides as press day of. And again, I want to thank you, B-sides LV, for understanding that I'm Master Chen and I forget to do things sometimes, like, I don't know, register for press. So apologies, and I will not forget next year. But there were a couple of things too, though. I tried to be a B-sides Proving Grounds mentor. I got rejected because the subject matter that I'm good at, I guess, was not being talked about at the Proving Grounds. And I tried to be a speaker. Okay, so I didn't get that. So I tried all the things except remembering to register as press. So just like other community Mike said, volunteer, register on something early, become a donor, become a sponsor.
Stay at the hotel.
Stay at the hotel too, because that is how you're gonna get in. Pretty much the only way you're gonna get in. I don't even think it's worth lining up.
So you can stay at the hotel and you get 2
Right.
passes
Right.
with the room.
Really?
And you got to spend
Yeah.
3 nights there, and the cheapest nights are basically nights of the con, which is like Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So
Yeah.
it's $75 a shot there. So you're at $230 plus taxes and resort fees.
So
And you
it's
have a room.
But you
Well-
can get the same thing for $50 each if you donate.
Yes. So be smart about it.
Oh, I see.
So
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
$100 you got 2 badges instead of.
I don't
But
think
no
they have
room.
a $50.
They do.
They do.
They checked.
But they ran out early. Yeah.
So you got to be on it.
You have to, as soon as it's available, donate.
Quick, write a Python bot.
Yep.
And I'll do it in the Adafruit IDE.
Great. Now we have a live. Now we have a
again-
Ticketmaster thing on our hands.
Again, putting on my press hat and using my old-fashioned skills, I actually interviewed the keynote speaker from B-Sides, Jim Christie.
Oh, that was an amazing talk.
Yeah.
So this guy, I guess through crowdsourced OSINT, open source intelligence, found
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, that's what you missed. He
They
found
have-
DB Cooper
The
using.
FBI
Okay,
has
that's pretty
closed the case on DB Cooper.
Bullshit.
No,
No.
seriously, that's what happened. It was fucking amazing.
So,
Hold on.
That was a great talk.
TLDR, come on, let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Really quick, again, crowdsourced open source intelligence, gathering all this information, and I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, dude's still alive, and now the case is closed. Do you have details on that, Smaction?
Yeah, I do. To just add a couple things, the first question I asked him, I go, "What's it like to bring down an American legend?" Right? And,
I'm the American legend now.
I mean,
and he what he really did, because he's ex-law enforcement.
Yeah.
You know, he took the traditional tack. He goes, "Oh, this was a bad guy. You know, it wasn't like, you know, he was misunderstood. He did lots of bad things. This is just one he got famous for. So no big deal. You know, just taking down another bad guy."
Oh,
And
I think they were using dating sites too.
they used a dating site, which
They-
I'll come to.
Yeah, they catfished him.
And it actually was it was not just a dating site, it was forums that discussed the DB Cooper case.
Yeah.
And they surmised through the open sources that they had that the real guy was probably on the forum as someone else talking about the
Like
case.
a red herring, like, oh, you
You know.
should look over there.
And so they spearfished him.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking
And,
insane. It was really good.
And they got people on, and this is the really interesting part, which kind of in a way to me ties in with Chen's talks.
yeah.
Oh.
Is they,
Oh, me?
yes.
Sorry.
He goes, we ran this like one of the pedophile investigations we used to do when I was with Department of Defense. Is you get some fake people on there that work for you talking amongst themselves. Because if you try to talk to the pedophiles, they shut down.
Sure.
Right? But you start talking amongst yourselves and building credibility amongst yourselves, and then that seeps over. And then they approach you. And that's exactly what they did on the forums here. They set
so
up fake
amazing.
accounts
Yep.
and started and lured him out and got confirming information. and about who it was.
Wow.
And now the case is solved. The FBI has officially closed the case.
Did they arrest him or?
No, he's dead now.
Oh,
he is dead.
He
I
was
forgot.
still alive, but by the time they
Got
churned
to
it
him.
all.
So, what I'm hearing is that the FBI framed a guy that talks shit on forums on the internet.
I mean,
If it works, it works. I don't know. Like, so there's your power. There's the power of open source intelligence, crowdsourcing, and catfishing. 3 new hacker tools if you haven't had them
But
already.
The reason I think it tied to Chen's talks is it was the same kind of thing of like, you attack your target remotely.
Yeah, by proxy.
Right.
So,
And so-
yeah, we're talking
So that
about
was
like
a real interesting conversation.
Yeah. Cutting
the
at the
talk
edges.
was real interesting. And he covered most of everything in the talk. There wasn't a lot of new ground in the interview, but like I said, the fact that he did it like a pedophile investigation, I thought was really interesting.
that's amazing. So he
So-
just died recently then. DB
Yeah.
Cooper died like.
In the last few years,
Wow.
this talk had been brewing for a while. So
Okay.
yeah,
Huh.
and
So where did he put the money?
they don't know. You know what? In the talk, and I didn't take a note on it, unfortunately. He talked about where the money might have gone, but mostly it's most likely that he just burned through it.
now I forgot because I was
It was an
probably
obscene
already
amount at the time, but
$250,000.
It was only 200.
Oh,
Yeah, just
200,000.
200.
Sorry.
yeah, but at the
Yeah.
time that was a ridiculous amount
So
of money.
Yeah.
did this guy actually look like the drawing of the DB Cooper, famous DB Cooper
He was
drawing?
old and
Yeah, but at some point you can see that he has
right,
photos.
right.
Yes, and I feel compelled to tell everyone that his name isn't really DB Cooper, the alias.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's-
DB Cooper. He actually was Dan Cooper on the manifest, but someone misread it, and so put that out to the paper first, and that became his moniker.
Oh, okay.
What was his real name? Now that
Is
it's,
it-
It was
Looks like-
Bradshaw or something like that?
Yeah, Robert Rackstraw is what I'm reading.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tracked. The other thing they did is once they had who he was, they tracked back his whole life. He'd married again, and all sorts of stuff like that. But
Wow.
it was a cool talk. you
yeah.
know.
And that was the B-Sides keynote.
Yes.
On Tuesday morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of the 727s are out of service now.
Yes.
But they actually, after this event, they installed what's called a Cooper vane, which is basically an aerial vane on the side that when the aircraft's in motion, it locks that rear stairway and it can't come down. And so as long as that vane's held in place, you couldn't lower the stairways. And so,
Wow.
so they actually it's called the Cooper vane on the 720s.
Are they going to change
Wow.
it now to the Rackstraw
Rackstraw
vane?
No, all the 27s are out of service,
that's
and
right,
there's
that's
no
right,
other
you said that.
aircraft with a rear stairway.
Just one trivial thing from the hijacking itself, that then this came out separately from the talk when I was talking with Jim Christie afterwards. They had thought of sabotaging the parachutes that he asked for, but he asked for 2, and the captain was afraid he was going to make one of the passengers jump with him. So then the captain exhorted them to make sure that both chutes were good.
Yeah.
But they had thought of sabotaging the parachutes.
Isn't that crazy?
That's harsh.
He had military experience, didn't he? Like he was,
Yeah, and that's actually what supposedly was what set him off. Is he had military experience? He was highly decorated, but he'd lied to get into the army. And then when they found out that he'd lied to get in, they drummed him out, even though he was highly decorated. And that's what
That's what set him
supposedly
off?
really set him off.
Wow. Yeah, that was an interesting keynote. There were some technical difficulties at the beginning of it, like
Yeah.
the slides froze, and but
It was a Windows machine.
it was. Hey, wait a minute! I did my talk on PowerPoint with this Windows 10 box. Actually, the one that you see right here. This was on stage. But anyway.
He should have synced it to his phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Really quick. Let's talk about that, and then we'll go. I don't know if we'll do a lightning round today, guys.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But let's talk about the Windows phone that.
Oh, no.
Oh no, it's not Windows Phone. I'm sorry. It's a Windows 10 update.
Yeah.
On your phone.
No, it's an update to Windows 10. Oh, shut up. You almost got that one past me, Satchel.
Oh.
Okay, so what's the details on this?
So new version of Windows 10 coming out, and it's going to be an update. It's going to allow a number of nice features, I think, and some security risk. Probably the best one looking out there is Explorer, like your File Explorer, is actually going to be able to have a dark theme.
Oh, finally.
So you can actually,
Cool.
you know, set in a semi-lit room and be able to not burn your eyes out while
Yep.
exploring your files.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's also they're changing things for the new. They're creating a new clipboard that syncs between devices, and a screen clipping and screenshot tool, which
Are they
is
bringing back Clippy? Is that what you said?
no. So it's a clipboard that syncs between devices. So basically, you're going to be able to cut and paste text from your desktop or your laptop and send it to your phone. And they're coming out with an app called Your Phone, and it's going to be able to sync with all your other Windows devices. And it will be available on Android, not on iPhone.
So your phone will sync your computer to your phone.
Yes, and it will
Right.
actually create a drop point on your desktop, and you'll be able to drop files in there to
Well,
go
can't
to
you
your
just
phone.
do that with OneDrive?
You'd think.
No, but this is your phone.
Yeah, it's going directly to your phone.
But it's OneDrive. Like, I have the app.
Yeah, but you don't need it anymore.
Yeah, you
It
don't
ju-
need-
it's
You'll
just in your
need,
phone's directory.
instead of OneDrive, you'll have Your Phone.
Right. And then your phone will put the files on your phone.
But probably the best part about this entire thing is that you're doing, they're putting SSH directly into, it's no longer called,
Command line.
it's called
Or-
the command line application now.
That's right. It's not called a PowerShell.
Right, it's command line
They're getting rid
application.
of PowerShell.
So
That-
instead
Right,
of-
right.
I bet you it will not be searchable.
And Notepad is going to be able to handle Unix line endings, which if you ever try to edit a Linux file in Windows and then
Windows.
copy it back to
It
Linux,
fucks up the formatting.
yes, no more. And they're moving towards a little bit more Unix support, amazingly. And they
Huh.
want to do that seamless between your desktop, your phone, your tablet, between all their devices, like Apple does.
It's as if Linux was the better choice.
So will
Well-
it use your phone to sync between
kidding.
your computer and your tablet?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
as long as you have your phone app
Right.
loaded to all three.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Your phone.
yeah.
Your phone.
Your phone.
Right.
Your phone.
Well,
no.
well, the scary part is that it's like clipboard and screen capturing and everything like that is like going out. Has a capability of leaving your computer.
Yeah, I don't
So,
want to do
so
that.
what if you cut and paste passwords? What if you cut and paste, secure keys?
Mm-hmm.
What if you're cutting and pasting your keys?
That's not what if. Everyone uses a password manager now, or you should.
Right,
be.
right. And so, what if you're and it basically syncs to the cloud? How do you turn that off? How do you go, I don't want this to be synced if it's automatic?
Same way you tell Cortana to
No.
stop.
Well, you stop that.
Yeah.
I don't want this going to cloud.
Well,
are,
then,
you, are you talking at it? What are you doing?
Even if you use
They
a
don't work.
password manager, it's still going to copy that to your clipboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it looks like there's some security investigation to happen after this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I kind of like hope they get it right, sort of, and then I hope they get it like it's really broken. I'm torn. I want it both ways.
You want it to hit production just horribly broken, doesn't even function.
Yeah, or it's like super unsecure,
So you hope that it's insecure so that like a whole bunch of content and DEF CON talks can be made about it and articles can be made about it, but then you want it to be secure because maybe they'll do it right.
Well, the biggest
And we don't wanna go
advances we've got in
backwards.
security is because people have royally messed up security previously.
Mhm.
And I think we just need another shot in the arm.
I don't know, man. We've had a lot of shots in the arm lately, man.
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just another one. Just another one.
Yeah,
Okay, so any thoughts on that, guys? Because I think we actually do. Maybe we could still do a little bit of a lightning round.
yeah, a couple.
Couple? Are we
I
cool
mean,
with that?
I guess my only other thoughts on it is it seems like they're just duplicating all the stuff that Google Drive and Google Keep already do.
Yeah, Apple, Google, they're going after those because that's where all the popular kids are.
I guess, yeah.
At least it's not like Steve Ballmer is still the CEO and he's all like looking at the phone, thinking, looking at the new iPhone like he did in 07, and he's like, nah. Windows Mobile has 70% of the market. We don't have to worry about these guys. He said that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and now look at them. They have nothing.
Yeah, they completely killed their phone line, and they're about to kill their tablet line, I think.
Are they really?
Nobody's buying them. Have you ever seen somebody with one?
Surface.
Yeah.
Which one?
right? You got one?
Yeah.
Surface.
Really? Do you
But,
use
yeah,
it?
these- I think they're I think they're new on the Surface Go. I haven't heard great things about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it looks nice and fancy, but I follow a lot of like consumer tech consumer people on YouTube and stuff, and
Yeah.
so far they have not gotten good reviews.
Yikes.
Ugh.
So, you've got a tablet that you've bolted a keyboard to, and now it's a laptop?
Yeah.
McNutt, our producer, is nodding. And he folds the keyboard back. Wait a minute. I know this thing is like 20 pounds, but I could also fold my keyboard back and it becomes a tablet. It's a 20-pound tablet, but it's a tablet. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
see, that's my only problem with the convertibles is when you fold it backwards and then you're holding onto a keyboard on the other
Yeah,
side.
you're just mashing buttons.
it
and
feels wrong.
It
But
does,
it
does. I don't like it.
disables the keys.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a thing
Okay,
you're
look,
supposed to do.
I'm going to tell you, I don't ever use it in tablet mode.
Yeah.
It's just funny to have, I guess.
See, I
Well,
want to get one, but
I don't trust the hinges.
Oh, neither
Yeah.
do I, dude.
No,
it
don't
it
get
does
that.
not get past, like, there. That's it.
The hinges will fail.
Oh, I keep
guarantee.
looking at it and go, no, I'm buying that.
Yeah, unless it was made in the '60s, it's gonna fail.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
They don't make shit like they used to.
Let's do a quick lightning round before we call it.
here we go.
All right, who wants to go first?
Nah.
All right, Vic,
go.
you cool going first? All right, cool. All right, for those of you, I haven't done this in 2 weeks. Hello, everybody. For those of you who do not know what the lightning round is, we are going to zdnet.com/topic/security. We are reading the headlines. We're going to give our tweets length, which is now 240 characters. We turn it into about 240 words, guys.
Yeah.
But we're going to give our tweets length of an opinion, but we want you to do your research. We want you guys to read the articles, and, we don't want to tell you how to think, just what to think. Or not what to think, but just how to think. I did that right the second time, right?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, here we go. First article, and we're going to Vic first. Let's see. China aims to narrow cyber warfare gap with the U.S.
Not news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag not news.
You mean to tell me the people making our technology are putting things in our technology?
Oh, yeah, we have a list of them now.
Huh.
All
Weird.
right. Next one. Google. To be clear, this is how we track you, even with location history turned off. Ooh, I heard about this one.
Bastards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's comforting to know.
Here's how we do it.
It's not.
We own your phone.
This is how you can't turn off tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you turn off location, yeah, it's. I heard about this. It's a fucking mess.
And plus also post security.
Yeah, he's been on that. I'm starting to agree with you.
Yep, 100%.
I hate myself.
100%.
Yep. Sorry.
I know, you're right. You're right. All right, next one. Necker's Botnet launches fresh assault against banks.
Nope.
So,
Did I say that wrong? Neckers? Neckers. Well, it is Neckers now. That's the name of the botnet.
Nikors.
Is it Russian?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, everybody put it on your best Russian accent.
Nikors.
Neckers.
Sounds like sneakers.
I'm not going to further mess with that word. Go ahead.
So, there are roughly about 1,400 known large botnets out there.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's been able to shut them down.
Because they're just too big?
Well, they keep expanding. They
Yep.
keep growing, and they just move between stuff. Internet of Things aren't going to shut this down.
Yeah.
It's like nailing down Jello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it's true. He's absolutely right.
No,
That is-
I know.
like-
It's just, I know you're
I got
right.
it now. Ah, damn it.
I know you're right, but
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
funny.
So,
I wouldn't
this,
have thought of that.
This is we're seeing the infancy of this. These attacks, these kind of things, are just going to expand, and they're going to expand rapidly.
Zenify?
I was actually cheating and reading the article.
Oh, then we're skipping you because you cheat. I'm kidding. You're a hacker.
It's rats and banks are infected, but it was a lot of spam messages. But
I mean,
I wouldn't get my PC so close to his.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that.
yeah, it's, turns out it's hard to nail down Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's let's make this the last article. 1990s technology exposes 32,000 smart homes and businesses to exploit.
Well, I mean, it was a cordless phone. It was pretty cheap,
So, bored retiree takes over large development center.
Perhaps Zenify?
so it's a Myra botnet from the past.
I guess. Okay, wait. What was in the 90s? Are we talking about like X10 systems?
Yeah.
It looks like it's the MQTT protocol.
Are you reading the article again?
Yeah.
Damn it, Zenify.
Well,
Well, that was informative though. Thank you.
yeah. Sorry, I went.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So stuff in the past is now present again.
Here it is.
All right. Well, that's that was uneventful. All right. So that brings us to the end of the lightning round, which unfortunately brings us to the end of the show. As you all know, we have run out of time, but never out of shit to say. So join us again next week, like every Friday. This time I will be here for the foreseeable future, because there is no conference that I'm going to in the next foreseeable future. So we're here every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Oh yeah, at the Sin Shop. That's where we are right now, right?
Huh.
Oh yes, we're here. 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. And even though we are in Henderson, just like DEF CON, we are still the Las Vegas Valley. I messed that up. We're here.
DEF CON was in Henderson?
No, it was in Vegas. You should know that.
Of course I did.
Oh, yeah, of course you did. All right. So go to sinshop.org for more information on the shop. Go to meetup.com/sinshop for more events like this and other things. And then for information on us, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.SE. My name is Master Chen.
Zenify.
I'm Vic.
And I am your phone.
Good night, everybody.